Hey, just making the video for the sake of record keeping. I don't know if this is necessarily going to help people. It might if you experience the same symptoms, but I I ate a little differently yesterday. I had some more sugary foods than I normally do. Some more carbs, but it was all gluten free. And I thought, well, if it's gluten free, it'd be okay, but it was not okay. And pain throughout my body it got a lot worse. My shoulder hurts so bad. It's stiffer than it normally is because I have a frozen shoulder. If you don't already know, you could Google that. It's just your shoulder freezes up as a defense mechanism, so it won't let the ball and socket joint, won't let it function. So you can't. It like kind of it's like gluing it together so it doesn't move anymore. So like I can move the whole shoulder, but like when I try to move the arm in the socket, it doesn't want to like really bend. So my elbow is fine, my wrist is fine, but but that area is very tender. Like it's where I've been screaming in pain several times this morning from just like slight movements. I normally ah I normally can type at a keyboard. Um but just getting my arm up there, it's like man. And my right shoulder and my knees and ankles this morning were bad, and so I don't know. I had an endoscopy a couple weeks ago, and they pulled a tube up, and then my mouth developed a yeast infection. So I think whatever's on the tube, what was in my intestine, because I never had a yeast infection before in my mouth. I mean, it really hurts. It's noticeable. You'd know if you had a yeast infection in your mouth. Like I couldn't even eat bread because bread was too abrasive. Like everything was swollen red, and it's all normally red, but it was even more red. Um, Very tender, very itchy and burny at the same time. Like God help women that get yeast infections down there, because God, it's got to be even worse. Um, and so, but yeah, so I had that, and then so I'm like, well, I've been having bloating in my stomach, stomach pain, and related to my diet, I'm eating more sugar, and that's not good if you have candida, like yeast problems in your stomach. So I'm trying to figure out what to do for that. I don't know. I mean, generally, the only thing I can do for me is not eat carbs and sugar, just eat vegetables and meat, and that's it. Which I'm fine with doing that. I'm happy with that diet. But I thought I could eat other stuff. And so yeah, that's not. So I called some places, and I don't know if they're gonna be able to test me. Thing is, by the time people get me in for an appointment and get their heads out of their asses and say like, hey, maybe we should actually test him for this. Maybe it's gonna be a week or two, and then I'm not eating sugar, and then whatever, I don't know, antibodies or whatever they test for candida won't be as prevalent. But regardless, I know for me, eating sugar seems to be really bad. But also, eating sweet things like sucralose or whatever the artificial sweeteners are, because I Googled that and I was like, can you have those like Diet Coke or something? But can feed off that stuff. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, I've been drinking Diet Coke. Like I never stopped drinking, so I'm like, okay, I gotta stop that. And I've been taking some, what do you call it, probiotic like pills, because I like what do you call it, this fermented drinks. I can't even think. I was in so much pain all night. I had trouble sleeping. But the fermented drinks that they have a lot of sugar in, and that you get probiotics from. Um, and so I'm like, I like those, but I'm like, well, I should probably avoid those if they have sugar. But I've been taking the pills, so we'll see if that makes a difference. And so yeah, that's what's going on with me. And hopefully, if I stay off it, because I feel like shit. And of course, tinnitus is worse always when I feel worse. So that's fun. Um, so yeah.